All right, folks, hello and welcome to this year's Minneapolis version of Rock from the Heart. My name is Jon Toivonen. I'm a survivor. I'm one of the speakers today. I'm also the MC of the event, as well as volunteering with both Rock from the Heart, as well as Aortic Health Unlimited. You'll hear any of you staying for the dinner later, you'll see me back up here during the dinner as well with my partner, Diane. Also, through Rock from the Heart, myself and Diane Bishop, do our own podcast called The Heart Connection. And what it is it's a podcast that's created by survivors for survivors. And what we really focus on is the aspect of surviving after the fact. Not just the event, but what happens in the days, weeks, months, years leading after you have your event. And we're probably going to be touched on some of that today with some of our speakers. Some of our, we have survivor stories today. We have a lot of providers that are here today that are also giving great information. One thing that I've always learned from these events is that I'm always taking something away from each one of these events. And it's great information. You're going to pick things out from people that you never knew. And so it's a great day. We will have a time for questions and answers. That will be at the end of the symposium today. So before we do before we do happy hour and things like that, so at the end of the day, right around 5:30 when we're ending things, we'll have some time set aside for questions. So if you do have any questions throughout the program, please write them down. We can get some cards out to you guys so that we can have you guys write down those questions. And they could be for any provider. As you're listening to the speeches today, if you come up with any questions, feel free to write them down. Make sure you put your email address on there just in case we don't get to your question. We'd like to answer it regardless. So if we could follow up with you, if we can't get your answer today, we will get your answer in the next coming week or 2 weeks or so. So please, but make sure you hold any questions for that end portion. The speakers will just kind of be up and down today. You can also ask questions of the survivors as well. A couple of them will still be around here, I believe, for dinner as well. And it's just a great time for us to get together and celebrate us as survivors, us as caregivers, us as providers. That's what I really like to take away from these events. A few housekeeping items throughout the day. Snacks and beverages are over back here in the left-hand corner. Restrooms, follow that hallway back there. There are restrooms very close to here. If you need to go ahead and sneak out, feel free to. If you are a speaker or you have anybody in your family that could not be here today, but they want to listen to the information, we do have a live stream, Rock from the Heart YouTube page. You can find it on our Facebook page as well. So if you wanted to share any of that aspect with your family or your friends. Also, we do record this whole thing, so it will be broken down by speech in the coming weeks. So we actually end up putting it all out there in one, and then we go back and we actually will separate them out speech to speech. So if there's some aspect that you really liked about the speech, but you didn't understand it, you can always go back and watch it. And that'll be available for you guys on YouTube as well. When we are all finished with the symposium here, there will be a happy hour just outside here in the bar area out here. And then for those that are staying for dinner, dinner will be in this room. And when you checked in today, if you got like a little card that says chicken, beef, or vegetarian, that is for your dinner. Make sure you have those out on your table. For the most part, usually when people set up at a spot, they usually keep that spot throughout the whole day. So people are usually pretty good about not coming in and stealing your spot. So you should be good on that aspect. So briefly, I'll just give a little synopsis, since we have a couple minutes here before our first presenters, on just how I got here, what brought me to Rock from the Heart. What is my story? I am a survivor. I'm a survivor of an aortic dissection that happened October 23rd of 2019. It was a catastrophic event, and I was actually diagnosed with cardiac tamponade, which means your heart squeezes till it stops. It was full of blood in my, what they call the periocardial sac. There were many doctors that worked on me over in our local hospital, as well as St. Mary's Medical Center in Duluth, where I had a partial graft of my aorta and a replacement of my aortic valve. I had a St. Jude's mechanical valve. A few months after that, 6 years to the day last week, I had my second open heart surgery. I had a repair done on a bypass that I had done in my initial, and that was actually clotting. It was clotting, spitting clots throughout my heart, and they got that fixed up. So that was a very lucky time for me as well. My third open heart surgery happened in May of 2023, and that's the one I'm still recovering from. I got an infection, which for the providers out there that know this, infection, fake parts don't work. So all my partial grafted sleeve of my aorta and my aortic valve had to come out. And they had to do what's called a redo. I had 20 hours of surgery, barely survived. I was on ECMO for 4 days, and I'm still here. So that's my journey to, thank you. Complications still continue to go on, and you know, you'll hear some survivors talk about, you know, a lot of the successes. You also hear them talk a lot about the struggles that we have, and those are some of the aspects that I go through in my life. And if you want to hear more about it, tune into our podcast, The Heart Connection, on YouTube. We try to do it once every couple weeks. So, and that's a lot of what we focus on is the surviving after the fact. So, I got hooked up with Rock from the Heart because I reached out to Amy on Facebook because I found that was the only resource I could find on Facebook was Rock from the Heart that had anything to do with heart, valve, dissection, anything. And I messaged and said, hey, I'm from Minnesota. I just had my third open heart surgery. I'd love to come to your event. And if you need me to speak, I can speak. And she said, great, I'll get you in touch with our people. Next thing you know, 3 years later, I think it was about 3 years, 2 years later, here I am still. They can't get rid of me. So, but it's good to be here. I'm really glad, and I'm really honored to be emceeing this event today. It's very important to me, and this event is like my recharge event. Like when I have bad days all throughout the year, this is the event that brings it all back. So you'll hopefully you will gain the same experience that I do every time I come here. So I want to thank everyone for attending today. Thank you to obviously all the providers and speakers that were here today. Thank you for attending. Thank you for all the great people and partnerships that we've made over the years that has helped make this possible.